Keenan Forney. At right tackle from Kansas State, number 74, Todd Weiner. At tight end from Mississippi State University, number 89, Reggie Kelly. At wide receiver from Villanova, number 86, Brian Finneran. At fullback from Northwestern, number 44, Bob Christian. At running back from Florida State University, number 28, Warwick Dunn. And at quarterback from Virginia Tech, number 7, Mike Vick.
The Atlanta Falcons offense introduced to a sold-out Georgia Dome as we get ready for today's NFC South matchup, the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. And Tim, you can hear the crowd behind us. A new wave of excitement here in Atlanta thanks to 22-year-old quarterback Michael Vick. Players and coaches around the league already comparing his potential to that of Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Kenny, he deserves it. He is the most exciting young player in the National Football League. He is a spectacular athlete. I don't think a quarterback has ever been better at running the football. I don't think anyone has had a stronger arm. He brings the whole thing together, but he not only does the physical things, he's doing the mental things. He's the highest rated quarterback in the NFC. He has not thrown an interception. I'm telling you, this guy by himself is worth the price of admission.
And today, Vic going up against the stingy Buccaneers defense. Not only do they stop their opponents, but they've scored in 3 straight games.
Well, yeah, and this is a defense that a lot of people after last season thought that it might have seen its best days behind it. But last season, 2 of its best players were injured. Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks were hurt all last year. This year, they are healthy. Warren Sapp, he's the best interior lineman in the National Football League. Derek Brooks is the best tackler. He is spectacular at the linebacker position. And both those guys told us this week they prepared to take on Michael Vick as if he were Barry Sanders. And that means today, if the Bucs are going to contain Vick, they are going to have to rally a lot of bodies to the football to tackle him.
And they will not only take on Vick, but a familiar face, former Buccaneer Warwick Dunn, second all-time rusher in Tampa Bay history. Remember to answer today's Sprint virtual coach question. When will the Rams win their first game? Use your PCS vision from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com. The Falcons and the Buccaneers coming up from the Georgia Dome on Fox.
Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Hold out, Georgia Dome. Kenny Albert with Tim Green. The Falcons have won the toss. Both teams coming off routes of the Cincinnati Bengals. Falcons had a bye last week and are excited to get back out there.
And Atlanta is excited. Last time these two teams played, Warwick Dunn, who was with the Tampa Bay Bucs, said it was like Tampa Town here in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, it's not Tampa Town here today. The excitement for the Falcons in this city is unprecedented.
Alan Rawson returning after missing 2 games. Awaits Martin Gramatica's kickoff. Takes it at the goal line. The former Eagle and Packer across the 40. Brings it out to the 46-yard line. A 46-yard return by Rawson, finally brought down by Rondé Barber. So terrific starting field position for Michael Vick and the Falcons offense. Vick has not thrown an interception this year in 3 starts. Started 2 games as a rookie last season out of Virginia Tech. And he is the top-rated passer in the NFC.
Kenny's making good decisions, and even when everything breaks down and he has to run around, that's where I think he's at his most dangerous, because he can throw a bullet on the run.
Bob Christian and Warwick Dunn in the backfield from the 47-yard line off the fake to Dunn. Vick complete to the tight end Reggie Kelly in Buccaneer territory. Gain of 5. Derek Brooks made the tackle. Falcons ranked 19th offensively. McClure bothered by a right knee injury, but he starts. Whitfield, the senior member of the Falcons, at left tackle. Dunn and Christ in the backs. Jackson and Finneran, the wideouts. And the tight end, Kelly, who caught the first pass from Vick. 2nd down and 5. Finneran in motion. Warren Dunn up the middle against his former teammates for a gain of 4. Stopped about 1 yard shy of the marker by Brooks and Shelton Quarles. Buccaneers ranked 5th defensively. Sapp and McFarland in the middle. Rice and Spires on the outside. Quarles with Brooks and Singleton. Barber and Kelly on the corners. Lynch, the 4-time Pro Bowl safety, along with Jackson. It's 3rd down and 1 for the Falcons on the Tampa Bay 44-yard line.
When we asked Warwick Dunn yesterday about playing against his old defense, he said, "I'm going to run for my life."
As Vick hands it off to the first-round draft pick out of Michigan State, T.J. Duckett. Quarles and Sapp were right there. But Bill Corono signals the penalty against the Buccaneers defense.
Offside, defense, number 92, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, Anthony McFarland and Warren Sapp in the middle were the biggest concern for the Falcons offensively. Dan Reeves told us that his 3 interior linemen were going to have their hands full all day. Everyone talks about Warren Sapp, and so Sapp draws the double team, and that allows Anthony McFarland to make a lot of big plays.
Following a penalty from the 39, Vick off the fingertips of Finneran.
Well, you got to see Michael Vick just deftly avoid Warren Sapp on that play, because Sapp had a heck of a pass rush on Travis Claridge. Vick just steps up. Watch Sapp work here. Watch him. He's going to get up. Vick has to step up. And I think that throws him out of his rhythm. He launches that ball, and he launches it a little high.
2nd and 10 from the 39. Off the play action, Vick can't find anyone. He was under pressure from Rice and Brooks, and he threw it away.
That was the same play that they ran the first play of the game, and this time you see how quickly Tampa Bay's defense adjusted, because Dexter Jackson had the coverage on the tight end, Algie Crumpler. You're going to see a lot of that bootleg action today, though, because the bootleg enables Michael Vick to get outside of the pocket. It puts him out on the perimeter, and it gives him the option to run or to throw.
And he has been terrific on 3rd downs this year. It's 3rd and 10 from the 39. Vick from the shotgun. Good protection. And the pass is caught for a 1st down by Willie Jackson at the 23, a gain of 16 yards from Vick to the former Saint.
You see how valuable that accuracy of Michael Vick is. Rondé Barber's going to fall down on the play. There's Barber right there, and he's got the outside part of the zone, and I think Michael Vick is lucky that Barber fell. I think if Rondé Barber keeps his feet, that's an interception.
Barber's had a terrific season. Went to his first Pro Bowl last year. From the 23, Duckett wrapped up by McFarland after a gain of just 2.
Most of the time today, Kenny, John Lynch is going to be moving up, creating an 8-man front to try to shut down the Falcons' run game. Here's Lynch right here. So now they've got 8 defenders in the box to shut that run down. The Tampa Bay defense is not overly concerned with the Falcons wide receivers. They think that Rondé Barber and Brian Kelly can handle those guys without a lot of help from the safeties. So that leaves John Lynch to move up. And there he is right there. You see him. He's just going to keep sneaking up. He can come up and play against the run.
Vick to the near side. Jackson, the intended receiver. McFarland got a piece of it.
And on that play, it was a pass, so Lynch just kept coming. I think right now the passes that we've seen Michael Vick throw would suggest that he's a little on edge. He needs to settle down a little bit.
Converted earlier this drive on 3rd and 10. Vick looks to escape, wrapped up and taken down. Ellis wins, and then he was finished off by Simeon Rice.
And did you see that defense rally to Michael Vick? Watch this pass rush. You're going to see Sapp and McFarland. They start to close down the middle. Michael Vick almost escapes, but look, here comes Sapp. These guys are just going to keep running all day long because they know he has a chance and the athletic ability to get away. So Simeon Rice and Warren Sapp keep running. They run to the ball, and they stop the Falcons on a big 3rd down.
And now a 46-yard attempt. Jay Feely wide to the right. Feely has had his problems here at home. He misses from 46. The famous Fox Theater here in Atlanta as we welcome you back inside the Georgia Dome. Buccaneers offense going to work from their own 37-yard line following the missed field goal. Alstott and Pittman in the backfield. This is Pittman out to the 42-yard line. A gain of 5. Sam Rogers made the stop.
Kenny, Warren Sapp, not only the best interior lineman, but an advocate here. Watch him working on the referee. And what he's doing, he's telling the officials that Michael Vick is jerking his head when he does the snap count. So he's trying to set the officials up to call for a
Johnson
offside.
had the ball stripped. Falcons have recovered. Sam Rogers, the pressure, knocked it loose, and it was recovered by Ed Jasper. Only the 6th Buccaneers turnover in 5 games.
There's that 3-4 Falcons defense, Kenny. And Sam Rogers was the linebacker that came. He stripped the ball. And the pressure from Jasper and Kearney was there as well.
1st and 10, 32-yard line. Duckett, couple of nice moves. Gains 7 down to the Buccaneer 25.
Watch Sam Rogers. He comes right off the right side, right around Roman Oben. And you saw the pressure underneath from Kearney and Jasper to flush Brad Johnson out of the pocket. Brad Johnson has taken his share of hits and then some this season so far. Tampa Bay's offensive line has a lot of inexperience on it, and the inexperience showed on that play there.
Dunn split out to the left. Penalty markers on 2nd and 3.
Now let's see if Bill Carolla is going to call Michael Vick for the offsides. Just Warren Sapp set it up. We'll see.
Prior to snap, false start, number 7, pulling out of the quarterback, out of the center, 5-yard penalty.
He did.
Repeat second down.
Well, we saw Warren Sapp talking to Bill Carolla. Watch his head. It was his head, and he actually had some body lean as well. But I think Warren Sapp still had the officials focused on Michael Vick because of what he was saying after the last series.
And Sapp put the idea into the mind of Carolla. Inside handoff, Duckett has the first down. Now to the 18-yard line, a gain of 12. Terrific start for Duckett.
I really don't think that the Atlanta Falcons, when they drafted T.J. Duckett in the first round, I don't think that they thought he would be as good as he's been. Look at that average, 4.8 yards a carry. Now, they brought Warwick Dunn in here in the offseason. They paid him a ton of money as a free agent, and I think the Falcons expected that Dunn would carry the load this season. But Duckett has shown that he is certainly worthy of picking up part of that burden.
And today, Duckett averaging close to 7 yards per carry. Falcons in the red zone from the 18. It's done. Cuts to the outside. And gains 2 down to the 16. Derek Brooks made the stop.
Well, Warwick Dunn is a runner that's probably not as conducive to running successfully against this defense as T.J. Duckett, only because Dunn is an outside runner. He makes those great breaks and cuts to the outside. This is a defense whose linebackers have tremendous speed, and the speed of Derek Brooks on that last play was what kept Dunn down. Now, Duckett has had success, Kenny, running right at this Tampa Bay defense. That's how you have to run at them, right at their speed.
Dunn in the backfield with Christian. Play clock winding down. The pitch to Dunn. Looks to cut it back inside. Ellis Wims made the stop.
Again, it's just hard to beat this Tampa Bay defense running tosses or plays to the outside. And here it is. It's just a toss play, but they're so fast. Look at the pursuit. Here's Brooks. Here's Quarles. Here's Singleton. I mean, they're all out there, and then they are all running to the ball.
Dunn told us yesterday it will be easy to get up for this game. I will not need a pregame speech going up against my former club. Empty backfield. 3rd down and 8. Vick with time. And he was looking for Dunn out of the backfield. John Lynch on the coverage. Here comes the field goal unit once again for the Falcons.
Well, Michael Vick is not throwing with the accuracy that he has shown so far this season. You almost have to wonder. Falcons had the week off last week, and you have to wonder if that week off didn't get him out of his rhythm. He needs to get back into his rhythm and start throwing more accurately.
Vick just 2 for 6 so far. 34-yard attempt. Feely was wide right from 46 just moments ago. This time, straight through. So the Falcons capitalize on the turnover. Aaron Stecker has the longest kickoff return in Buccaneers history, but did not reach the end zone. In fact, no Buccaneer ever has in over 1,500 returns.
But this is still a successful return team. This kickoff return team is ranked 5th in the National Football League. So they've not gotten a touchdown yet, but they are doing a good job giving their offense field position.
An onside kick, and Feely has recovered. The Falcons surprised the Buccaneers with the onside kick in the first quarter. It's recovered by the kicker, the Tampa native, Jay Feely.
Talk about redemption for a missed field goal earlier on, Kenny. This is a perfect onside kick. Watch Feely. He just squibs it perfectly, and then he picks it up himself. It's got to go 10 yards before he can touch it. As soon as it crosses that 10-yard mark, there he is. Here's the spot it's got to go to. He's just going to squib it along, and then Feely pounces on it. Look at that. Look at the defenders way too far back. And then the Falcons kickoff coverage team, they're down there throwing blocks, protecting Feely. What a bold call by Dan Reeves.
And his son-in-law, Joe DiCamillis, the special teams coach.
That's right.
And Tim J. Feely out of Jesuit High School in Tampa. He once tried out for the Buccaneers, and soon thereafter they drafted a fellow by the name of Gramatica.
Well, I tell you, that's a clutch kick right there. Because, you know, think about it. You've got to kick it just right. If you come up short of the 10-yard line, everyone's down on you. If you kick it beyond the line far enough for the opposing team to pick it up, then you've given them great field position. It's like sinking a 36-foot putt.
Penalty markers on first down.
Not that I've ever sunk a 36-foot putt.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Prior to the snap, false start, 70, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Big Bob Whitfield, he's the veteran on that Falcons offensive line, and he's going to have his hands full today because Simeon Rice is an exceptional pass rusher. He gets to the edge as well as any defensive end. Exceptional speed. Sometimes, Kenny, offenses will run right at him to try to slow him down, to keep him from getting upfield too far.
Bob Whitfield, the only Falcon remaining from your playing days.
That's
here
right,
in Atlanta.
yeah, one of my former teammates.
1st and 15. Falcons keep it on the ground on first down. John Lynch and Derek Brooks combining to bring down Warwick Dunn after a gain of 5. So 2nd and 10 upcoming. Falcons on their 3rd offensive possession. Buccaneers have only run 2 plays on offense, and Brad Johnson fumbled.
Kenny, right now, though, for the Falcons run game, Duckett is averaging 6.7 yards a carry. Warwick Dunn is only averaging 2.8.
Dunn in the backfield, 2 tight ends set on 2nd and 10. More flags.
It looked like Michael Vick pulled out from under the center too quick.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 7, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
The snap's really gotten into the heads of the officials.
Well, and I think Anthony McFarland is getting into Vick's head. Look at McFarland. Look how quickly he's coming off the ball. If those guys up front, McFarland and Sapp, are so quick, you know, they get into the quarterback's head. He's nervous. He's worried about getting out of there quick, and he loses his concentration on the snap count.
So the Falcons force back 5 yards, 2nd down and 15. Vick over the middle, Dunn out to the 42-yard line.
Wow. Anthony McFarland just lambasted Michael Vick on that play. Again, that's that 3-on-2 battle. The Falcons guards and center, they've got to block these 2 big guys, and the focus goes to Sapp. See the double team on Sapp? And then McFarland comes clean and just blasts Michael Vick.
Interesting matchup. McFarland and the Falcons center McClure, very good friends, teammates at LSU.
There are no friends on Sunday, not between the whistles.
At least between 1 and 4. Vick under pressure, gets rid of it. Dunn could not hold on. So the Falcons will punt it away.
This is an example, and the Falcons were concerned about these 2 guys. Watch Sapp and McFarland. Look at both of them on this play. Look at the pressure they get on Michael Vick immediately. There's McFarland, there's Sapp. So Vick never gets time to set up and throw this ball with any touch. And then Warwick Dunn, you know, that's a ball he's got to catch, though.
So Chris Moore, a Buccaneer way back in 1989, punting for the first time. Carl Williams backpedaling and lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback. 58-yard punt. Buccaneers will start from their own 20.
People talk about the media being liberal. O'Reilly's not liberal.
So tune in the O'Reilly Factor on the Fox News channel. Brad Johnson, 3rd all-time in completion percentage, empty backfield. And the pass is caught for a first down and more by McCardell. Finally brought down near midfield by Keyshawn Carpenter, a 30-yard pass play.
Tampa Bay comes out and they force the Falcons to dig deep into their roster. Mathis is the 4th cornerback, and he's covering Williams, and not only does he not get the coverage, he doesn't make the tackle after the catch. And the Falcons told us yesterday they had to stop run after the catch. They said, look, this is a West Coast offense. We know they're going to complete balls on us, but then it has to stop. They can't have yards after they catch it. Well, they just did.
The pitch to Mike Alstott, and he rumbles for 7 yards down to the Falcons 43 before he was brought down by Sam Rogers.
Kenny, the Falcons came into this game hoping that they could stop the Tampa Bay running attack with just 7 men. They wanted to take their safeties, McBurrows and Keyshawn Carpenter, and put them back behind the cornerbacks to give them some help. That means they have to stop the run with just their linebackers and defensive line.
Both receivers split to the left. 2nd down and 3. Michael Pittman. A hard hit, stopped about a yard shy of the marker by Gerald McBurrows, the strong safety.
I think it was actually, yeah, it was McBurrows and Matt Stewart who made that hit, but McBurrows just laid Pittman out. And that's one thing McBurrows is very good at. He is a run support safety, although at times he'll struggle in his pass coverage.
Johnson forced to call timeout with the play clock winding down. Crowd on their feet. A sellout here at the Georgia Dome with the Falcons on top by 3. Following the timeout, 3rd down and 1 for the Buccaneers.
3rd down has not been a strength of this offense. 21st in the NFL this season.
From the 41. Off the play fake. Johnson is taken down. A loss of 2 on the play. Matt Stewart with his 1st sack of the season.
It was a great deception, but Brad Johnson goes on the naked bootleg, and watch Matt Stewart just run him down. Now that's Michael Vick. You aren't catching him. But that's Brad Johnson, and he's big, he's tough, he's got a game arm, a lively arm.
And now, as they set up for the punt, Tom Tupa, a former quarterback, lines up behind center. It's 4th down and 3. Tupa, the
going to try to draw him off. Then they're gonna line up and punt it, most likely, Kenny.
Tupa, the Buccaneers punter, who started 13 games at quarterback for the Cardinals, threw that interception in the end zone week 1 against New Orleans in overtime. So the Buccaneers take the delay of game penalty, which will give Tupa some more room. And Tim, the new long snapper, Morris Unitoa, a former Buccaneer, Eagle and Bill, signed this week, replacing the injured Mike Solwald. So Unitoa snapping for the first time this season. And it's a high snap. Good job by Tupa. Taken at the 10-yard line. Allen Rawson. Return of only 5 yards. Up to the 15. White Smith made the tackle, a 38-yard punt by Tupa. Back in Atlanta following the punt. Michael Vick and the Falcons will start from their own 15.
Kenny, Michael Vick has not been accurate with his throwing. And the other thing is we've not seen him run the ball. He has averaged 7.7 yards a carry. That's the best in the National Football League right there. You see what the rest of the team has done, 3.7. So he needs to settle down, start to throw a little more accurately. And also, you know, I think everyone in the Georgia Dome here wants to see him take off and make one of those spectacular runs.
He is the leading rusher among quarterbacks in the NFL. Hands it off to Dunn.
He's in!
And Dunn stopped after a gain of just 2. Setting up 2nd down and 8.
If you looked at the action of that play, it was the bootleg action. So they're starting to set up that bootleg. Now here comes T.J. Duckett. And we talked about this in their last series. I think that's a good move. I mean, Duckett is in a groove. He's averaging 6-7 a carry. And I think if a guy is running like that, you just give it to him. You got to feed him. You can't keep going to work done if he's not going to pick up big yards.
2nd down and 8. Off the play fake. Vick fires and has the 1st down. Finneran out of the 28. A gain of 10.
Not only was that ball very well thrown, it had some touch on it. And that's the first time we've seen that today from Michael Vick. Nice move by Finneran. He gets inside. You see that ball had a little bit of touch on it. He didn't use his full arm strength on that pass, and he lays it in there perfectly. Finneran, the good thing about him is his hands are so good. He can catch even when Michael Vick gets excited and throws a rocket. Finneran has the hands to catch it.
From the 28-yard line, the pitch to Dunn. Rodney Barber coming up to make the stop.
And I've got to say, this is the 2nd time we've seen, or the 3rd time we've seen the Falcons run that pitch play. And I'll say it again, it will not work against this Tampa Bay defense, not consistently, because you've got Brooks, you've got Quarles, you've got Singleton, and they're too fast.
Clock winding down. That will do it for the 1st quarter here in Atlanta. Falcons with an onside kick. They recovered. And seen Michael Vick do what he does best.
No, we haven't seen him take off and run the football, and he makes these unbelievable plays when he does do that. But what we did see on his last pass, Kenny, was a more controlled pass with a little bit of touch on it, and that's dangerous for this Tampa Bay defense. They're going to have to continue to keep the pressure on him with Warren Sapp and Anthony McFarland up the middle.
2nd down and 10 as we start this 2nd quarter. Vick 4 for 9 in the air. Make it 4 for 10. Ryan Finneran, the intended receiver.
And again, on that play there, it wasn't a completed pass, but you saw Vick kind of placing it in there between the coverage, and you saw his accuracy on that play. The other thing is the Falcons have done kind of an inconsistent job at protecting Michael Vick, but when they have done it, like on that play, they've done it very well. So Michael Vick is either running around trying to save himself, or else he's standing back there with plenty of time.
And they had 2 weeks to prepare for this Buccaneers defense coming off the bye. Vick on 3rd and 10 fires, looking for Willie Jackson. And right now for a game break, let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tim, Giants trying to play error-free football. First possession of the 2nd quarter. Collins hooks up with Hilliard. Great 2nd effort. Just the 3rd touchdown in 12 red zone possessions this season for the Giants. They're up by a touch. Back to Kenny and Tim.
Thanks, JB. Hey, tell Terry you definitely sold a couple of his new books in this booth. I know Kenny and I are going to run out and get them.
I don't know which book to read first. Terry's or yours?
Keep it simple.
33-yard punt. Good field position for the Bucs. Anthony McFarland of the Buccaneers. A left foot sprain. His return is questionable. He'll watch as the Bucs go back on offense. They run only 6 plays from scrimmage.
That should help that Falcons offensive line protect Vick. Wow.
Michael Pittman looks to hurdle to the 41-yard line.
That was Keith Brooking.
Yep.
And he brings it. He has had 10 tackles or more in each of the Falcons' 3 games so far this season. Against Green Bay in the opener, he had 22 tackles.
Went to the Pro Bowl last year for the first time.
He's got fabulous instincts. He's like a Brian Urlacher, not quite the speed of Urlacher, but the same type of great instincts.
Johnson on 2nd and 9. Off the fingertips of the tight end Ricky Dudley, playing in his 3rd game with the Bucs. He's already scored 2 touchdowns.
And they want to use Ricky Dudley. The Falcons are going to do a lot of press with their cornerbacks to the outside. They're going to keep their safeties back to help them deep, It's going to let the cornerbacks press. And so Dudley is going to have some man-to-man coverage. He's going to have some man-to-man coverage by linebackers and occasionally a safety. And so Tampa Bay wants to take advantage of that because Dudley's a lot faster than he looks.
3rd down and 9. 3 receivers set. Bucs have to get to the 49 for a first down, and Keyshawn Johnson picks up the first with the 500th reception of his NFL career, a gain of 14.
Well, Kenny, you see Keyshawn talking to Jerron Bolden. Bolden is going to be on Keyshawn all day. It's like a fight. The light heavyweights are Keyshawn Johnson and Jerron Bolden. These two guys are going to be locked up. And then in the middleweight division, we've got Ashley Ambrose. He is going to try to stay on Keenan McCardell all day long. And as I just said, these guys are going to try to be up and pressing those guys, pressing the Tampa Bay wide receivers, getting physical with them, knowing that they have help behind them deep with the safeties.
And the Falcons going with Bolden against Keyshawn because of his size, 6'2", against the 6'4" Johnson. Brad Johnson over the middle. Keith Brooking was right there to take down Pittman after a gain of just 2.
Well, there wasn't a lot of run after the catch on that one. And, you know, Pittman has more receptions than any of the other receivers that Brad Johnson is throwing to, and he does that a lot. He throws to Pittman on the checkdowns quite often. And if Pittman can take it and turn it into something positive, then, you know, that's gonna hurt this Falcons defense. But Brooking with an excellent tackle.
In fact, only Marshall Faulk and Tiki Barber have more receptions among running backs in the league than Pittman. 2nd and 8. Johnson on the slant to McCardell. Stopped about a yard shy of the marker by Ambrose.
And then there's that middleweight division. It's Ashley Ambrose against Keenan McCardell. And watch him right here. There they are. And you see that press? So he bumps him, he presses him, and then he still stays with him on the inside slant move. That was another good tackle after the catch. So 0 run after the catch on that play. Good tackle by Ambrose.
3rd down and 2. Michael Pittman.
I think Pittman, I don't know. I don't think they're not going to give him that on the spot, Kenny. It looked like he made it from up here. And I think they're going to be, I think they're short, Kenny. So that's another 3rd and short situation where the Falcons defense holds up. Watch it right here. It's just going to be a little dive play, a little trap, and it's Ed Jasper is the guy who makes the tackle. And Jasper is kind of an unconventional nose guard in this 3-4 Falcons defense. Most of the nose guards in the 3-4 are enormous men, 350-pounders. Jasper's only about 300, real svelte, but he's quick.
The Buccaneers head coach John Gruden initially sent out Martin Gramatica on 4th and inches for what would have been about a 53-yard attempt. But now it looks like the Bucs will go for it.
And the Falcons started when Wade Phillips had 5 defensive linemen out there. But then he pulled them off, and he's back in his regular 34.
4th and inches. The toss to Pittman. And it looks like he picked it up on the good second effort.
He twisted through. Ed Jasper was the guy on the tackle again. But this time Jasper wasn't able to bring Pittman down before the yard mark. Here's Jasper right here. Watch him working, using the quickness, working through that line, and he makes the hit. But Pittman spins, and it's a heck of an effort, and it keeps the Tampa Bay drive going. Tampa Bay has not really got their run game going this season. And they fought that against this Falcons defense. Falcons 24th in the league in their run defense, and Tampa Bay felt like, you know what, we should be able to run against these guys. They're a little lighter. They're a quicker defense, and that's part of that 3-4, having 4 linebackers out there instead of the 4-3 where they have 3 backers.
So a new set of downs as Johnson hits Allstott For a gain of 6, Matt Stewart coming up to make the tackle for the Falcons.
Really, if you look at this passing game, Kenny, it's a short passing game. And that's what we've seen. We've seen that so far today. Brad Johnson's been throwing the ball underneath. The biggest pass play they had was about a 5-yard slant to Keenan McCardell, and then McCardell took off and picked up another 10 or 15. But so far it's just this underneath passing, picking away at this Falcons defense.
2nd and 4. McCardell on the reverse, hesitated, and then is taken down at the 26-yard line after a gain of 3. So it will be 3rd and 1 for the Bucs.
And the guy that makes this, Bolden, starts it out, but then Will Overstreet from Tennessee, the Falcons' 3rd-round pick. Watch him here. Watch him hunt this thing down. And look at that hustle to make that tackle. Because I'll tell you what, if Overstreet doesn't follow up on Bolden's initial hit, I think McCardell just keeps running.
Overstreet making his NFL debut. Missed the first 3 games with a shoulder injury.
And they just love his hustle, and you could see his hustle on that play.
3rd down and 1. Play action. Johnson's pass is caught by the fullback Jameel Cook, and he picks up the 1st down, only his 2nd reception of the season. A gain of 12 yards on the play.
Well, someone had a blitz peel where they were coming on the blitz, and they didn't peel with the fullback. When you rush the quarterback from the outside, if you're an outside backer, sometimes a safety, and the guy who's supposed to block you goes out in a pass pattern, you've got to peel off of the blitz. No one peeled off of the blitz, and it's another 1st down for Tampa Bay and another short pass.
Empty backfield from the 14. And Johnson's pass incomplete. Ashley Ambrose on the coverage.
Well, that was a well-timed blitz by Keith Brooking. Really well-timed. He hits the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. Watch Brooking here. Look at that. He hits it so quickly that the guard is not able to pull off in time to keep him from hitting Brad Johnson. Look how he times that thing up. He was smoking on that play.
12th play of the drive for the Buccaneers. 2nd and 10 from the Falcons' 14. Pittman the lone back. Johnson complete. McCardell down to the 5. Chris Kraft made the tackle after a gain of 8 yards.
Well, Tampa Bay knows by now that Ashley Ambrose is trying to mirror McCardell all over the field. So what they did on that play, they came out with a bunch. They put 3 wide receivers in a cluster, and that forced the Falcons into a zone. So Ambrose was not able to play man on McCardell, and McCardell got tied up on a linebacker. Another key 3rd down for Tampa Bay.
3rd down and 2. Johnson looking for Pittman, incomplete.
Well, we said before, Tampa Bay has not had a lot of success on 3rd down.
They went for it on 4th and 1 on this drive and were successful. They picked up a 1st down on 3rd and 1 earlier this drive, but could not pick up the 1st on 3rd down and 2. So Gramatica to attempt a 23-yard field goal from the left hash mark. Martin Gramatica.
Another high snap, Kenny.
High snap by the new long snapper Unitoa. And Gramatica ties the game at 3.
Sean Johnson having a discussion with Richard Mann, the wide receivers coach. He's not happy. He's not getting the ball in the red zone. He's got no catches in the red zone this season. He wants the darn ball.
Yes, he does. Not only 3 catches in the red zone last season among his 106 receptions. Alan Rossum awaiting Martin Gramatica's kickoff. Buccaneers and Falcons tied at 3. 8 minutes to go, 2nd quarter from the Georgia Dome. Rossum brings it out. And forced out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Time now for a game break with James Brown. JB.
Kenny and Tim, look at this quick decision by Steve McNair of the Titans as he goes back. Real quick look. Hey, I'm going to take this pay dirt. 11 yards he did. Tennessee up 7-3. Werfel out with a shoulder sprain. Stephen Davis with a knee injury. And Tim Green. Terry Bradshaw says he's trying to become a prolific writer like you. Back to you guys.
I appreciate it. I think he's been on the bestseller list more than I have, though.
That's what JB said during the pregame show. New York Times bestseller list for Terry. Keep it simple. Falcons will start from their own 22-yard line. On first down, here's Duckett.
Wow, look at that. Did you see that? First of all, this is what the Falcons really have to keep doing. The guy is like a train. He's like a locomotive.
He's nicknamed the Diesel.
He's got, I mean, go run right at him. Look at him. Run right at him. Cover up the ball. He runs right through Rondé Barber, and then he runs right through Singleton. And then here comes Quarles and Jackson, and it takes 3 guys to get him down. But not after he's picked up, only after he's picked up 9 yards. And I'm telling you, 4 of those 9 yards were just blasting guys.
Duckett,
look at that,
has the first down and more out to the 41-yard line, a gain of 10.
Just feed that man the rock. That's all you got to do. I mean, I know he's the rookie, and I know you spent a ton of money on Warrick Dunn, but if it's working like this, it's a little cutback play. Look at it. He uses that speed of the Tampa Bay defense against him. He gets them going one way, they over pursue, just a little cutback, and then not to the outside, but swish straight at him with the heavy man.
Work done on the sidelines. Strong first half for Duckett, averaging nearly 8 yards per carry. And the Falcons keep it on the ground, nowhere to go this time. Derek Brooks, the first Buccaneer in, along with John Lynch. Loss of 1 on the play.
That's the first time we've seen Duckett not pick up big yards. So that's the first time. So now what you do is you keep Duckett in, well, they're not gonna, but now you can use the play action pass, because now you have John Lynch and Derek Brooks and everyone so focused on stopping Duckett when he's in there that you can fake the run, do the play action, and now Michael Vick's going to have time to throw the pass.
And Dunn lined up as a receiver, empty backfield. Vick out of the shotgun on second down and 11. Vick looks to escape and is taken down by Simeon Rice.
And McFarland was there too. McFarland's back in. You know how Jimmy Johnson on the pregame show said, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to put a spy on Michael Vick. He was absolutely right. I spoke to Monty Kiffin before the game. Kiffin's a defensive coordinator for the Bucs, and he said, look, we're just going to rush him like we normally do. The only difference is when Simeon Rice gets upfield and Greg Spires get upfield to the level of the quarterback, I don't want him to keep going and run around. I want him to come back on the inside. Otherwise, we're not doing anything special. We're just going after him like we go after everyone.
And that's exactly what they did on that play. Third down and 13. Vick again under pressure. Got rid of it.
That's a dangerous throw.
And a late flag comes in as well. Greg Spires is down.
That pocket just collapsed. Someone may have hit Michael Vick helmet to helmet, and it may have been Warren Sapp. Watch Sapp right here. He's going to come in. McFarland gets him down. I don't know. I don't know if that's a penalty or not. Greg Spires looked like he hit Vick, and then remember, you can't hit the quarterback in the head. I don't know if that's it or not.
Illegal forward pass by number 7, passing the ball forward beyond the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
It's a 5-yard penalty and loss of down. 4th down.
Not only was it illegal, it's kind of a dangerous thing to do, to carry the ball, have it out there. I don't know if Michael Vick intended that, though, Kenny. I don't know if he intended to even have the ball go out of his hand.
Just slipped out.
It looked more like he got, he got sandwiched, and that thing just came flying out of there.
So Chris Moore back at his own 21. Carl Williams back deep for the Buccaneers. Just over 5 minutes to play, second quarter. Tied at 3. Penalty markers. Moore angling the punt towards the sidelines. Fair catch taken by Williams at the 16 following a 49-yard punt. Bill Carollo looking for some help.
I think the Falcons are going to just let it stand
defense
as it was.
Number 34.
It's a pretty good
that penalty
punt.
is declined. Timeout.
So the Bucs back on offense when we return. Back at the Georgia Dome in a 3-3 game. As the Buccaneers defense, Tim, they've continued to do their thing against Michael Vick.
Well, they have, especially that front four, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Anthony McFarland. They have disrupted Michael Vick enough to get him out of a rhythm. I mean, he's only 4 for 11 right now, and this is the worst game that he's had so far, thus far. I mean, he's got plenty of time to turn it around, but right now, this is kind of a slump for him.
Buccaneers start from their own 17-yard line. A gain of 7 for Pittman as we check in with James Brown. JB.
All right, Kenny, 30 yards closer is Emmitt Smith to the career rushing record. Take a look here off the left side. Gosh, good second effort right there. 30 yards to pay dirt. First touchdown of the season for Emmitt Smith. Boy, and now they're on top by the score of 13-7. The Giants with that reception by Amani Toomer, waiting for the point after, on top now 13-7. Kenny and Tim.
All right, JB, so Emmitt Smith has reached the end zone for the first time this season. Neither team has reached the end zone today here in Atlanta. 4 wide receivers set, 2nd and 3. Pass is caught by Keyshawn Johnson, his second reception for a Tampa Bay first down, a gain of 8.
And that's a little 2-on-2 matchup out there. Now, the Tampa Bay knows what's going on. They know that Bolden is following Keyshawn all over the field. They know Ambrose is following Keenan McCardell. And so that time they do a little wide receiver screen, and it's a good play. It's a good matchup and a good mix-up. And, you know, we talked about Michael Vick not really being in a groove, throwing the ball and certainly running. Brad Johnson, on the other hand, is being very efficient. He's 8 for 11 right now, and he's doing what they brought him in there to do. I mean, just make the short throws, make the smart plays.
Johnson on first down, caught along the sidelines by Keyshawn Johnson at midfield, a gain of 18, and he's in Bolden's face.
And that's why Keyshawn wants the darn ball, because look at this skill. Bolden has good position on him. He's got it all, but how can you defend against this comeback throw? I mean, Johnson just throws it behind Keyshawn, and Keyshawn has the strength and the athletic ability to just spin around and catch really what is an underthrown ball by design. I don't know if he got both feet down on that, Kenny. That may be something they want to challenge. But if the snap goes off, they're not going to be able to challenge it.
And now Johnson calls timeout.
And that's going to give the Falcons coaches up in the booth a chance to see this thing. I'm not certain whether or not he did get both feet in.
And it's the Buccaneers who stop the clock by calling timeout. Give the Falcons coaches a chance to look at the replay upstairs.
There's 1 foot down, 2 feet. From there, you can't tell. Now, that's not going to overturn it with that. It's got to be indisputable visual evidence. All right, there's the catch right there. There's the left foot. There's the right foot. I don't know. You know,
you can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell from that shot either. We'll see if we have yet another one. This one here is probably going to give us the definitive look. And I don't even think you can't even tell from that. So even if the Falcons were to challenge, I don't think that would be overturned.
And now the Falcons have challenged.
I don't think that's going to be overturned, but I guess you never know.
If the Buccaneers had not called timeout once the ball was snapped, Falcons would not have been able to challenge, but had some extra time.
Atlanta is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a catch. We'll review the play.
So Bill Carollo will take a look at the video, and we'll check in once again with James Brown.
Kenny and Timmy, Emmitt Smith, 30-yard score, answered right back by the Giants. Terry Collins, second touchdown toss of the day, 56 yards to Amani Toomey. They beat the rookie corner, Derrick Ross, 14-7 Giants on top, back to Kenny and Tim.
Thanks, JB. Hey, JB, I know that Howie said there was only 2 athletes, or maybe it was Terry in that group there. And then I know you got game because I know you played basketball at Harvard, and I heard the challenge issued to Terry Bradshaw that you could take him one-on-one, spot him 20 points, a 30-point game.
Wow.
So that issue's decided. And then I see Jimmy Johnson catching 2 balls at the same time, one from Joe Namath and one from Terry Bradshaw. So I think you got 4 athletes there in the pregame show.
I wonder if anyone had ever caught passes from 2 Hall of Famers simultaneously like Jimmy did.
I don't think so. I think it's a first. But I think Jimmy got called out. Let's take another look at this replay.
And Tim, as you mentioned, there must be indisputable visual evidence.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Bill Carollo cannot overturn the call on the field, which was completion.
I mean, it looks like his, you know what I'm saying? But it looks to me like that right foot, just that heel goes out of bounds, but you have to, I think, extrapolate. I think you have to, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you can actually see it. I gotta believe this thing is going to stand as a catch.
So once again, there must be indisputable visual evidence for the referee, Bill Carollo, to overturn the completion from Brad Johnson to Keyshawn Johnson. If it is overturned, it would push the Buccaneers back 18 yards from midfield back to their own 32. And remember, Carollo might also be looking at how much time to put back on the clock.
See that, Kenny? Miami 16-0 over New England.
Falcons have not had much success under Dan Reeves on instant replays.
After reviewing the play stands as called a completion. Both feet were in bounds. There was not any visual evidence to overturn the ruling on the field. First down, timeout, Atlanta.
Now it's interesting that Carollo said both feet came down in bounds, and then he said there's not enough visual evidence. But the play stands, and the Buccaneers will have a first down at midfield.
Either way, that is a very difficult pass to defend. Bolden, again, he had the right position, but Brad Johnson, that's a called comeback pass where Johnson and Keyshawn Johnson, Brad Johnson get together and say, all right, I'm going to throw this behind you. You're going to come back to it.
McCardell in motion. On first down, the toss to Pittman, running behind Roman Oben. And he's hit for a loss of 1 on the play. Ashley Ambrose coming up along with Brady Smith to make the stop.
Kenny, Falcons defense has done a good job containing the Tampa Bay run.
Pittman averaging only 2.5 yards per carry today. As a team, Buccaneers have averaged only 77 yards per game on the ground.
Well, don't forget, I mean, this is a passing offense. John Gruden wants to throw the ball.
Second down and 11, 3 wide receivers. The pass is caught by Joe Juravicius for a first down. 19-yard pass play from Johnson to Juravicius.
And Brad Johnson is really starting to go to work. A well-thrown ball. Juravicius, a lot bigger than Ashley Ambrose. He just gets inside on this slant pass.
So the Buccaneers on the move as we hit the 2-minute warning here in Atlanta. Up on the Visa halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats. That's coming up on the Visa halftime report.
I think the Falcons defense needs to do something to disrupt the rhythm of Brad Johnson in this passing offense. They need to sack him. They need to come up with a big play. There's that bunch again. They've got those 3 guys in a bunch here. That's to keep Ambrose off of McCardell.
From the 32, Johnson looking for Pittman. Incomplete. Brad Johnson now 10 of 14 in this first half, and he's been sacked twice.
Well, that was good coverage by the Falcons defense downfield, and the disruption came in the form of a little bit of pressure on Brad Johnson. But Pittman's got to hang on to those.
John. Brad, we can win with him.
Those little dump passes, though, have become a staple of this offense, and if Pittman's going to drop them, it's going to be hard for them to get into the end zone.
On 2nd and 10, pump fake, dumps it off, looking for Pittman again, and he was wrapped up by Travis Hall, making his 2002 debut, coming back from an injury.
He had a torn groin and abductor muscle, and he sat out all preseason in the first 3 games, and they didn't know if he was going to be able to withstand the stress of a game. So he came into today, he was going to test that thing all out, and if it doesn't work, if it still bothers him, the next step is going to be surgery. More tackles than any interior lineman in the NFL since 1996. Travis Hall, look at that, 509. And that was a very well played last play by Hall on the screen.
And a member of the Falcons team that went to the Super Bowl back in '98. Fans on their feet, 3rd down and 10.
Big 3rd down. This is where Brad Johnson looks for his money guy, McCardell, but you know Keyshawn Johnson, this is where he wants to get the ball when it's clutch time.
Johnson lost one up for Keyshawn, and it's picked off by Keon Carpenter. His first interception of the season.
This is a total defensive effort by the Atlanta Falcons. And Kenny, it starts with a guy who we've mentioned before, Ed Jasper, the nose guard. Watch Jasper and look at the pressure he gets on Brad Johnson right there. Forces Johnson to leap up and throw this ball higher than he wants it to go. The trajectory is off, and Keon Carpenter comes over and steals it right out of the hands of Keyshawn Johnson. That was the kind of big play they needed to disrupt the rhythm of Tampa Bay's passing game.
6th career pick. He intercepted 5 2 years ago with the Buffalo Bills, playing for Wade Phillips, the head coach in Buffalo at the time, now the defensive coordinator here in Atlanta.
Wade Phillips brought a new defense here to Atlanta. It's the 3-4, and we've talked about it before. And anytime you bring a new D, you want to bring some of your old players with you.
And Phillips has brought 4 ex-Bills to Atlanta. Well, October's magical matchups continue tonight. Game 4, the Braves and the Giants. Atlanta looking to close out the series and advance to the NLCS for the 7th time in the last 8 years. The magical matchups continue tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox.
Atlanta's up 2-1. Now in game 1, Glavine lost. But today he's going to be pitching against Barry Bonds. Bonds has never been to a World Series, so this is going to be a great one to watch tonight. Tom Glavine versus Barry Bonds. Sounds like a monster movie.
And you saw Livan Hernandez will start for the Giants. Perfect postseason record. TJ Duckett on first down. Falcons have 1 timeout as we are in the final 2 minutes of this first half in a 3-3 game following the 2nd Tampa Bay Buccaneers turnover. Johnson lost a fumble in the first quarter, and he was picked off by Carpenter moments ago.
I think this conservative approach by Dan Reeves is a good one because Michael Vick has not yet established a rhythm. And I don't think you want to press for something now. I think you want to get out of this half. Your defense just came up with a huge play to keep it 3-3. I think you want to get into the locker room and let Michael Vick start from scratch. Say, hey, second half is going to be a new game.
Just ask the Giants. They led 7-0 in Arizona last week. Similar situation. Instead of running out the clock, Kerry Collins was intercepted. It was returned for a touchdown, and that turned the tide.
Yeah, and as I said, I mean, right now Michael's not in his rhythm. He can get it back quick, but I think you wait, and you don't do it when you're backed up to your own end zone. I think this is a smart decision by Dan Reeves and the Atlanta Falcons.
Vick just 37 yards in the air and only 1 carry for 1 yard.
And this, you can't forget also, Kenny, this is Tampa Bay defense has scored 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. So you don't want to make it 4 for 4.
And the Buccaneers, Tim, not able to stop the clock. They're out of timeouts. So the Falcons will run out the half. Fans not happy, but again, we look at what happened to the Giants last week, especially going up against Tampa Bay. Probably the right decision. Falcons forcing 2 turnovers in the first half. We are tied at 3 here at a sold-out Georgia Dome. First ever NFC South matchup between the Buccaneers and the Falcons.
You see Sapp smiling, and he and Anthony McFarland, Simeon Rice, they've put a lot of pressure on Michael Vick, and they've disrupted him, Kenny. We have not seen the Michael Vick that Falcons fans have seen in the first 3 games of this season. We've not seen him run the ball. We've not seen one of those spectacular runs, and we've not seen the efficiency in the passing game that coming into this game made Michael Vick the top-rated quarterback in the NFC.
So the Buccaneers and Falcons are tied at 3. Halftime here in Atlanta. Fox NFL Sunday. The Visa halftime report is coming. We welcome you back to the Georgia Dome. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. And Tim, in the first half so far, the defenses have certainly outshone the offenses on both sides.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Tampa Bay and Brad Johnson have gotten the ball moving, but anytime they get down near the end zone, they've had turnovers, so that's killed them. And then for Michael Vick, he's playing his worst game so far, but it's not really totally because of him. A lot of it is the disruption of this Tampa Bay front 4. They have put a lot of pressure on Michael Vick. They have brought the heat. They've knocked him down. They've sacked him, and they're doing their job of keeping him out of his rhythm. If Atlanta is going to get this thing going again offensively, they have to take the pressure away from Michael Vick.
Sacked twice in the first half, only 1 yard on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise Atlanta's been successful on the ground with TJ Duckett. On the other side of the ball, Tampa Bay who have not been able to run the ball well all season, have continued in that way. They're only averaging 3 yards a carry.
Well, Tim, moments ago, our Buck Lanford spoke with Buccaneers head coach John Gruden.
All right, thanks, Coach Gruden. You guys have done something that no one else has been able to do, and that is neutralize Mike Vick. What's the secret?
Well, we got some good players on defense. It's a 60-minute game. The guy's very dangerous. We just got to stay in our rush lanes and stay very relentless.
A 3-3 kind of a defensive battle. Are you surprised by that at all?
That's a good football team we're playing. We had a couple nice drives, stymied by some turnovers. We got to protect the ball and try and capitalize on field position.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Back upstairs to Kenny and Tim.
All right, thanks very much, Buck. Buccaneers start from their own 20-yard line. Johnson, 10 of 16, 124 yards. He was sacked twice and turned the ball over twice. Michael Pittman gains 3 on first down. Out to the 23, Keith Brooking made the stop.
And you see on that play there, the Bucs continue to struggle running the ball. Brad Johnson's doing a pretty good job throwing it. The turnovers are what has kept this game close, because over on this side of the ball, look at the Falcons 29 yards passing. That is abysmal for this Falcons offense, especially with Michael Vick at the quarterback. I mean, don't forget, coming into this game, Vick, the #1 rated passer in the NFC.
Only 90 total yards for the Falcons. Johnson on 2nd and 7. Incomplete, looking for Keyshawn.
That ball looked like it just got away from Brad Johnson. I love what John Gruden said about Johnson this week. He said, you know, let's be honest, he's not a real glamorous guy. He's an average dresser. He gets a $12 haircut every 3 weeks, and he's not the most animated guy. But I'll tell you one thing, Brad Johnson is one tough son of a gun. He didn't say gun. And Johnson is tough. He is like a mule back there. You hit him with a board, and he just keeps going.
Johnson on 3rd and 7. Forced to throw it away under pressure from Brady Smith and Patrick Kearney.
Yeah, I think Travis Hall got in that as well. And they hit Brad Johnson with a board. Watch him coming on this play here. Here comes the pressure right up on the outside and the inside. And it really was Travis Hall, who's 310 pounds and moves well. Watch Hall right there. Wham! Right in the midriff. But like I said, Brad Johnson, that doesn't affect him.
So the Buccaneers go 3 and out on the first possession of their second half. Alan Ross of all, he is walloped by Jack Golden. 58-yard punt, 12 on the return. Early 3rd quarter, Kenny Albert, Tim Green in Atlanta. Neither offense has been able to do much today, thanks to the strong defensive efforts by both the Buccaneers and the Falcons.
Well, Tampa Bay has moved the ball a little bit in the air, and Atlanta has moved the ball a little bit on the ground, mostly with T.J. Duckett. But Warrick Dunn is back in the game right now.
Dunn only 2.2 yards per carry today, and Michael Vick only 4 completions. The pitch to Dunn, looking for running room. Out to the 32, a gain of just 1 as the Buccaneers continue to bottle up their former teammate. Spent his last 5 years in Tampa. Still has a home there. Spent some time in Tampa during the bye week.
Well, he's a wonderful guy, Warrick Dunn, and all he does for single moms and their children. I think he bought over 28 homes for
made down
families
payments
that didn't have those homes.
Provide homes for 28 single moms and 81 children in both Tampa Bay and his hometown of Baton Rouge. Vick on 2nd down, deflects off the tight end, Algie Crumpler.
And there was heat even on that play, but you know, that's one Algie Crumpler's got to catch. That was it had some sauce on it, though. You know what I'm saying? That had some Tabasco sauce on it. That was a zipped ball. That was one of those balls where, you know, again, Michael wants that to have a little bit of touch on it. 1 for 7 today on 3rd down.
And an empty backfield. 5 receivers set. Everybody out. Vick steps up. Nowhere to go, and he is taken down. For the 3rd time today, Simeon Rice.
And Warren Sapp made that thing possible. He's got the head nod going because he knows that he's the guy that made this thing happen. Warren Sapp, he comes like a rhino out of control, and Michael Vick is hurt.
Took him a while to get up off the turf. Doug Johnson, the backup.
Looked like his non-throwing shoulder is what they're looking at. Watch it here. There's Sapp. He gets a hand on him, almost sacks him. Then you see the elusiveness, but here comes Simeon Rice, and Rice pounces on him. And there's that shoulder exposed, that right shoulder, and he falls right down on the turf.
But the key, as you said, Tim, it's the non-throwing shoulder.
Yeah, that's a class. I mean, you don't know what it is, but that's a classic collarbone injury. You know, where you get the AC separation or the SC, where the clavicle comes out of joint. where it connects either to the shoulder, at the scapula, or the sternum. Would be the SC. Either way, it's more Tampa Bay pressure up front to keep Michael Vick out of his rhythm and now maybe out of the game.
Simeon Rice with 2.5 sacks today for the Bucs. Fair catch called for and a penalty flag as Travis Jervey was downfield on special teams. And
Jervey's trying to say that Jermaine Phillips blocked him in.
Jervey making contact with the return man, Carl Williams.
That is kind of what happened. Watch, Jervey's going to actually get blocked in the back by Phillips. That's a call. That's a bad call by the officials. They're discussing it now. That should have been and maybe it is. Maybe it's a flag against Phillips for a block in the back.
Phillips, the rookie out of the University of Georgia, 5th-round pick by the Bucs.
The officials very well may have seen that. I don't know. Yes,
it is against Tampa.
That's a very good call.
Illegal block in the back on the receiving team. That's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. There's no fair catch interference because he was blocked into him. But it is a block in the back for 10 yards. First down, Tampa Bay.
Gruden's saying that's so bad, but when he sees the film, he'll know that it was bad by Jermaine Phillips, not by the officials.
Well, the official report on Michael Vick, a sore right shoulder after he was sacked by Simeon Rice moments ago.
Okay, that's the same shoulder he took a hit on 3 weeks ago when the Bears came up here and Warwick Coleman popped him with his helmet right in that shoulder.
It's Pittman on first down, and Vick told us yesterday that hit by Holden was the hardest he's ever taken. And he told his cousin Aaron Brooks about it because New Orleans played Chicago the next week.
And Brooks told him that you have to get out of bounds, or you have to get down. You cannot take those kind of hits and continue to play quarterback in this league. And you've got the arm that's big enough, strong enough, quick enough to just sit back there in the pocket. So don't be such a hero.
2nd and 4. Pittman cuts to the outside, has the first down, out to the 25-yard line. Doug Johnson continues to throw on the Falcons sidelines. Vick
going to try to throw and see if he can throw with that shoulder bothering him. I tell you, if he does get back in the game, they're going to have to do a much better job of protecting him. They've really not protected him well this game.
Looks to be wincing every time he throws. First and 10, Bucs from their own 25 in a 3-3 game. Quick drop. And the pass caught out to the 33-yard line by Keyshawn Johnson. Don Holisek made the tackle after a gain of 8.
Now you see the Bucs offense is starting to operate on all cylinders. They came out running the ball with Michael Pittman. 2 runs, picked up a first down. Now they go to the short possession type pass to Keyshawn Johnson.
Redskins have lost both Danny Werfel and Stephen Davis. Carolina looking for their 4th win. Miami leading New England by 10. Inside handoff, Pittman out to the 35. Close to the marker, looks to have the first down. How about New Orleans? 3-1 Saints, division rivals of both the Falcons and the Buccaneers, leading the Steelers 26-14.
And if you look at, of course, we called the game in the opener when the Saints went to Tampa Bay and gave Tampa Bay their only loss. And the way they did it really was Aaron Brooks was able to somehow beat the Tampa Bay defense on 3rd down. He ran for first downs. He threw effectively for first downs. And the Falcons right now, offensively today, they're 1 for 8 on 3rd down at 13%. The Saints were 50% on 3rd down, and that's how they beat Tampa Bay.
On the 35, Johnson pump fakes, and he's taken down. He lost the football, but he was down. He was ruled down.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, was he? Yeah, no, he's ruled down. Yep, the officials are ruling it down.
Ben Montgomery, the line judge, rules him down by contact, and that cannot be challenged. If a player is ruled down by contact by an official, it cannot be challenged by the opposing side.
That's really good coverage downfield by the Falcons secondary. Where you see Ed Jasper, he just pushes Kerry Jenkins, and if that was a fumble, that would have been a real heads-up play by Jasper, just to push the offensive guy away.
Jenkins ruled down. Jenkins playing with that cracked fibula. Played last week as well. Johnson actually gained 2 on the play. 2nd and 8. Pass intended for Keyshawn.
Yeah, good coverage again by the Atlanta Falcons. They covered him up on that play. And then the play before, the one where Johnson looked like he may have fumbled. Look at this coverage downfield. If you stop it, look at that. Man for man, man for man, man for man, man for man. And there's a free safety there in the middle to help. So that would be a coverage. It wasn't a sack, but it was a coverage play that foiled Brad Johnson in that Tampa Bay offense.
3rd down and 8. 3 wide receivers. Bucs have to get to the 45 for a first down. Johnson just out of the reach of a diving McCardell. And Johnson took a hit from the Falcons' Ellis Johnson.
Well, the Falcons started this out pressing those wide receivers. The cornerbacks were right up on Keyshawn Johnson and Keenan McCardell. They were right up in their face, jamming them around because the safeties were behind them. Look at this. Watch this work right here. Ashley Ambrose, but then Ambrose actually ends up coming off the coverage, and look how open McCardell was. But by that time, the pressure had gotten to Brad Johnson.
Allen Rossum across the 40 to the 44. 23-yard return by Rossum. Good field position for the Falcons.
Michael Vick is heading into the locker room, and he is not happy about it. He's being escorted in by the team doctor. Doug Johnson has taken the field, and Kenny, I'll tell you this, Doug Johnson in the preseason really excited people here in Atlanta with the accuracy of his passing. And Dan Reeves was excited about, this is his 3rd year in the system, and he was excited about how well Johnson has picked up Dan Reeves' offense.
From the 43, penalty markers.
Free play.
Johnson, complete to Finneran. Brian Kelly made the tackle, a gain of 15 yards.
Tampa Bay came up with the blitz. They went with the adage, blitz the young guy. Doug Johnson may be young and he may lack experience, but
Offside, defense, 97. That penalty is declined. First down.
he's somewhat wise beyond his years. And you saw it right there. He kept his composure. They showed the blitz. He hung in and delivered a perfect pass for his first throw of the game.
A rare University of Florida quarterback who does not play for the Washington Redskins. 3rd season. Started 2 games as a rookie for the Falcons 2 years ago. Played in 3 games, but did not start last year.
He's got a stronger arm than any of those other Florida quarterbacks.
Off the play fake on first down. Johnson complete to Duckett. Duckett inside the 25 to the 22. Finally pulled down by Derek Brooks. Robbie Barber had a shot at him. Gain of 20 from Johnson to Duckett.
And look how well he knows this offense. Look at the composure. Johnson sets up. He reads the field. Watch how long he sits back there. It's a play action pass. He reads the field. And then here's a touch pass. Just a dump off to TJ Duckett. Put it in the big back's hands and let him rumble.
So Doug Johnson comes in, replacing the injured Vick, and the Falcons gain more yards on his first 2 plays than their previous 4 drives combined.
The Bucs defense have got to be scratching their heads right now saying, who is this guy?
Here's Duckett. Down to the 19, a gain of 3. Derek Brooks made the stop. Setting up 2nd down and 7.
Well, Doug Johnson is in the game, Kenny. Michael Vick went into the locker room because of this hit. Warren Sapp got on him, then Simeon Rice brings him down, and that shoulder is exposed, that right shoulder, and that's what his injury is. You see him there wincing in pain as he tries to lift his arm, wincing his pain as he tries to throw the ball, even though it was his non-throwing shoulder that he's hurt. Vick had 37 yards passing. Johnson already has 35.
Johnson out of the shotgun on 2nd and 7. Johnson looking, throws, and Rondé Barber dropped up Willie Jackson. Falcons wanted a flag on the play. No flag.
Tell you what,
it will be a 3rd and 7.
Tell you one thing, that's Johnson's thrown 3 passes, completed 2 of them, but he has not had the pressure that Michael Vick had on him all day. It's almost as if the Tampa Bay defensive front 4 lost that smell, you know what I mean, the smell of that hunger, because they have not put the heat on Doug Johnson yet. And when you see 99 there, even though he's huffing and puffing now, you'd be surprised if he doesn't bring the heat real soon.
Falcons only 1 for 8 on 3rd down. Johnson's pass is caught by Finneran, but he stopped about a yard shy of the marker. Setting up 4th down and 1, and Dan Reeves will send out the field goal unit.
Kenny, once again, Falcons offensive line, all of a sudden, they're protecting the heck out of Johnson. Watch the block here. Watch Travis Claridge on Warren Sapp. He runs Sapp right out of the play.
So here's Feely, who hit from 34, missed from 46. This a 32-yard attempt to give the Falcons the lead. He does. So Doug Johnson moving the Falcons downfield in for the injured Michael Vick, and Atlanta takes the lead. The Gardens, Falcons leading the Buccaneers by the score of 6-3. Michael Vick back from the Falcons locker room. Suffered a sore right shoulder moments ago. Falcons with the 3-point lead.
The way Doug Johnson played, Kenny, and the way that Michael was kind of out of rhythm, you would expect that Johnson's going to continue to be in this game.
And the Buccaneers will start from their own 20. We are honored to be joined in the booth by the man who will be performing here at the Georgia Dome after the game, the godfather of soul, James Brown. And my partner, Tim Green, tells me when he played for the Falcons, James, you took some snaps at practice. Is that right?
Well, I used to play a little football, you know. I mean, I'm still on the good foot with whatever I do, but I used to play a little football.
And you're a southpaw, right?
Southpaw. Yeah, I played a little quarterback, you know.
Yeah, you got under center, you took some snaps, and we really came after you.
Well,
right? Wait, yeah. You got to do for us though what we asked you to do this when you came to practice. You got to give us that. You got to give us that hey, and then we'll throw it to JB after this play. So give us the hey. And then throw it to JB in Los Angeles.
You ready for him?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, JB?
Hey, already back in, JB. As I get set for the update and tell you what Washington is doing. Back and forth game, 12 plays, 74 yards. Stephen Davis, despite the sprained knee, goes in for the score. Washington up. Hey, Tim and Kenny, tell JB I do feel good.
You heard that? He said he does feel good.
Stay on the good foot, partner. Stay on the good foot.
Thanks, JB. We appreciate it. Great to see you again.
All right, from one James Brown to another. Bucs on offense. Johnson complete to Pittman out at the 29-yard line.
JB, James Brown, I should say. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We will look forward to seeing you after the game.
If I don't see the game, I'll see the O'Reilly factor.
Here it is, the next step. James Brown's new CD, and he will be performing here at the Georgia Dome following the Buccaneers and the Falcons.
How about one more, I feel good?
Fantastic. Ow, I feel good. But Papa's got a brand new bag. Check it out.
All right, thanks again. We return our focus back to the field at a penalty marker on 3rd down. That has to be a first, Tim. The godfather of soul throwing it to our James Brown. That's got to be a first.
Absolutely.
Third down.
One JB to another.
And as part of the resurrection of the Falcons here in Atlanta, they've sold out the Georgia Dome, and they will have post-game entertainment following many of the home games.
And the entertainment that I want right now is to shut down this Tampa Bay offense on third down. It just went from third and short to third and long.
And Johnson's pass is caught. Keyshawn's
gone
down the sideline, 76 yards, his first touchdown of the season.
Falcons defense went to the press one too many times. They left Jerron Bolden out there on an island, and the only other man on that island was Keyshawn Johnson. Watch Bolden. Here's the press. Johnson gets by him, and Bolden does not have the speed. It's almost as if Bolden played that like he thought he had help from a safety. And Henry Jones was not deep. Henry Jones was up, playing in a short zone.
The longest reception of Keyshawn Johnson's NFL career. Only his second touchdown as a Buccaneer. It gives Tampa Bay the lead. The Buccaneers on top, 76-yard touchdown pass. Brad Johnson to Keyshawn Johnson. Only his second touchdown the last two seasons. So the Buccaneers now leading 10-6. Gramatica's kickoff taken by Rossum. Brings it out across the 25. Tackled at the 28-yard line. And a flag on the play. Ryan Neese, Ronnie Lott's son, makes the tackle on special teams for the Bucs.
Look at the touchdown, Kenny. Here's Bolden. He's locked up on Keyshawn. Here's Henry Jones. He comes up. So the safety's up, and Bolden has Johnson man on man. He's got to take him the whole way, but he doesn't. I almost think Bolden and Henry Jones are not on the same page, because Bolden played that play as if he thought he had the safety back behind him. But the safety, Henry Jones, came up to play the run, and Keyshawn Johnson gets behind the coverage.
For Keyshawn, his fourth career touchdown in 3 games against the Falcons, as he beat Bolden, who is starting for the suspended Ray Buchanan. Bolden out of Hillsborough High School in Tampa. In fact, he works with the track team there during the offseason.
Well, Kenny, we're being told that Michael Vick has an AC sprain, and I talked about that earlier. That's where the clavicle, your collarbone, connects to your scapula. It's right on the top of your shoulder, and they're saying he may return. They're saying it's 50-50 right now. And I can tell you firsthand, that is an excruciating injury.
Crumpler thought about lateraling it back to a teammate. Takes the short kickoff up to the 39-yard line. And Doug Johnson, Tim, during his first drive in relief of Vick, pretty efficient. 3 of 4, 41 yards, and the Falcons kicked a field goal. Now, getting back to James Brown for a second, the godfather of soul. So how was his arm in practice when he used to come out and visit you guys when you played with the Falcons?
He didn't throw the ball. He only ran it.
He only ran it?
Yeah, he wanted to run it.
How was his speed?
You know, he moved around pretty good.
Did you get him?
kind of got on the pile.
You know, I know you are the 10th leading sack man in Falcons history.
There you go.
From the 40, Johnson to the air.
Whoa, nice play by Brian Kelly.
Kelly got the hand in.
You know, Brian Kelly has been tested this season, and the Bucs defense feel that he has really held up. Of course, Rondé Barber's at the other corner. Look at Kelly on this play. Now he's got his hand on Jackson, but he can do that as long as he doesn't impede or prevent Jackson from catching the ball or getting his way of catching it. He can put his hand on it. He just can't shove him and stop him, impede him from catching the ball in that way. But he can put his hand on him and make that great play. Rondé Barber, the other cornerback, opposite Kelly.
Johnson with time on 2nd and 10, looking for the fullback, Bob Christian.
And with time, Kenny, is important. Again, Doug Johnson has not felt the heat from Warren Sapp, McFarland, Spires, and Simeon Rice.
Do the Buccaneers feel they don't have to pressure Johnson as much because he doesn't have the legs Vick does?
I don't know. I don't know, but they're not getting the pressure on him. And they certainly got it on Michael Vick. Vick was banged around all game, and I think that more than anything got him out of his throwing rhythm, and finally it got him out of the game.
Well, Falcons converted their first 3rd down opportunity, 0 for their last 8. Johnson's pass caught by Crumpler, but stopped about a yard shy of the marker. And despite the pleas from the fans to go for it, Dan Reeves sends out the punter.
Well, you're only 4 points down. And you've got a quarterback in the game. Even though he's your backup, he's doing pretty well. So I don't think right now in the 3rd quarter is the time to take drastic risks.
I agree. 36-yard punt will return in a moment. From their own 15-yard line on 1st down, Pittman looking to fight his way through. Wrapped up. No gain on the play, setting up 2nd down and 10. Well, a low-scoring first half here in Atlanta. We were tied at 3 at halftime. Kenny Albert, Jim Green, Buck Lanford on the sidelines.
Falcons got their early 3 points because of a Brad Johnson fumble. Sam Rogers came through on a pass play and stripped the ball. Pat Kearney picked it up. Falcons got a field goal. Falcons offense looked anemic with Michael Vick in there. He took a pounding from Tampa Bay's defense.
Johnson to Sticker. But right there for the Falcons, Matt Stewart and Gerald McBurrow's a loss of 2 on the play.
Tampa Bay defense pounded Michael Vick right out of the game. Doug Johnson came in. Here's Matt Stewart. Nice speed, nice reaction. He and McBurrow's, one takes one side, one takes the other to make that tackle. Tampa Bay was able to move the ball in the first half. Then when they got down into the red zone or near the red zone, Brad Johnson threw a pass to Keyshawn Johnson, which was intercepted right before the half.
3rd down and 12. Johnson looking for Jurevicius, penalty marker.
Looks like Fred Weary may have drawn that flag. Yes. There's Jurevicius, and Weary's on him right there.
Pass interference, 24, defense, 1st down.
Falcons cornerbacks have been challenging Keyshawn Johnson and Keenan McCardell all day. Jerron Bolden had the job to stay with Keyshawn, follow him over the field. Ashley Ambrose, you see Ambrose going here. He's on McCardell. But Keyshawn got the best of Jerron Bolden in the last series.
McCardell out to the 39, close to the marker. His 600th career reception. So it will be 2nd down and 1.
He has been a fantastic addition to this Tampa Bay team. He's a wonderful receiver down in Jacksonville for years and years. And a great pickup for the Bucs. Sure-handed. Great moves. Comes out of his breaks. Very disciplined receiver.
Pittman has the first down. Gain of 3 on the play. So the Buccaneers, their drive kept alive by the Fred Weary's pass interference penalty on a 3rd down and 12. Buccaneers with the 4-point lead on the move with under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter. Brad Johnson hitting Keyshawn Johnson, a 76-yard pass play, giving Tampa Bay the lead. Longest reception of Keyshawn's 7-year NFL career.
There goes McCardell. There goes Ambrose.
From the 42, the pass caught by Keyshawn. Keith Brooking the tackle. Leans forward to the 49, a gain of 7 yards on the play.
Once again, Kenny, Tampa Bay is shaking that man-to-man coverage by running Keyshawn. We saw him do it with McCardell in the first half, running him out of that bunch, that group of 3 receivers.
6 receptions, 131 yards. And the go-ahead touchdown for Keyshawn Johnson. After 3 quarters here in Atlanta, it's the Buccaneers 10 and the Falcons 6. Tampa Bay Buccaneers looking to win their 4th consecutive game. They lead by 4. They knocked out Michael Vick and they scored the go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. Now Brad Johnson is operating this offense, and he's doing it efficiently, moving down the field. And Tampa Bay they don't care if they don't win big. They'll win ugly. They just want to win. This is the new NFC South division. You've got Tampa Bay, you've got New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta. So divisional opponent, you just want to put them away any way you can.
Brad Johnson to McCardell, but he could not hold on. And what did Howie Long call it? The NASCAR division?
Yeah, but
NFC NASCAR?
Yeah, but then he followed it up by saying it was the strongest division in the NFC. Look at the coverage there. Ashley Ambrose had beautiful coverage. And the thing he does, he stays with it. It's a perfect throw. McCardell makes what looks like a beautiful catch, but you see Ashley Ambrose, he gets his hands in there. He realizes the catch has been made, but then he strips the ball out of McCardell's hands. He just stays with that coverage all the way through the play. There he is again. He has had his hands full all day with McCardell.
Now 3rd down and 3. Johnson under pressure, got rid of it quickly, again looking for McCardell. Time now for a game break, and JB, it's only me throwing it to you this time.
All right, partner, take a look at the rookie Patrick Ramsey. I think he's got that job in Washington. His 2nd touchdown pass of the day. That to Kevin Lockett, 23 yards for the score. It's Washington by 14 and the 3rd. Back to Kenny and Tim.
All right, thanks very much, JB. So the Redskins lost a quarterback, as have the Falcons. Another high snap by Unitoa. Tupa. And Rossum lets it go. And did Corey Ivy keep it out of the end zone? Does not look like he did. 51-yard punt by Tupa. It's the new NFC South realignment this season. Carolina, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay all leading their games in the 4th quarter.
Atlanta felt like this was a very critical game for them to win, to get them off of the bottom of that division.
Work done. Gains 2 out to the 22 as Doug Johnson remains in his 3rd series at quarterback for the injured Michael Vick, who suffered a sore right shoulder back in the 3rd quarter.
And they actually said, Kenny, that it is an AC shoulder sprain. See Buffalo on top of Oakland with 2:19 left.
Another high-scoring game involving the Drew Bledsoe-led Bills. Johnson and Vick have each completed 4 passes. Vick only 4 for 12, and he gained only 1 yard on the ground. Second down and 8. Johnson pump fake, spins, and complete to Duckett. First down. Out to the 33-yard line. John Lynch slams him down after a gain of 11.
Execution is the operative word for the Falcons offense on this play. Everyone does their job extremely well. The offensive linemen sell the pass. Doug Johnson sells the pass. He turns around and the blockers get out in front for Duckett. Tampa Bay's defense has to rally. This is a totally different game now for Tampa Bay's defense with Doug Johnson in the game. Gone is the threat of the quarterback scrambling around for huge yardage.
Johnson under pressure, got rid of it to Duckett. Nice job by Johnson to get rid of the football. A nice catch by Duckett. Sapp thought he had him.
And Doug Johnson got his first taste of Warren Sapp. Before this, he'd done a good job. Claridge has kept Sapp out. Sapp comes right up under him with the rip. And Johnson's able to get rid of this football, but just barely. So now he knows who's out there. Warren Sapp going off the field.
Duckett's gained more than half of the Falcons' total yards. Chartrick Darby replacing Sapp. To the 34, and Webster tackle on Dunn as Sapp comes back in.
Yeah, look. The crowd booing Kenny. I mean, you know, Warwick Dunn, I know this is his old team, but again, he's averaged 2 yards a carry. Duckett's averaged almost 5.
Dunn went to the Pro Bowl twice as a Buccaneer back in 1997 and 2000, but not been able to get going today against his former club. Third down and 9. From the shotgun, Doug Johnson. Looking for Dunn. And the Falcons will have to punt it away.
Well, Doug Johnson had some nice protection on that play, but he had nowhere to show it, nowhere to throw it. Look, here's this cover 2. There's 2 safeties deep, and that enables the Tampa Bay cornerbacks to press the Falcons wide receivers. So Johnson with no target except for Warwick Dunn, and the 2 of them can't connect on the little check down pass.
That's a fake. Chris Moore throwing downfield, and Kozlowski thought he had it. And then he was hit by Dexter Jackson.
I think Dwight Smith intercepted that ball.
Kozlowski thought he had it in his hands on the pass from Moore. And what a hit by Jackson, leading to the interception by Smith.
We saw one onside kick earlier that worked for the Falcons. This time they go for the fake punt. Moore throws that ball pretty well under pressure, but wow, does Dexter Jackson make a play. Woo! Dexter Jackson knocked his own chin strap off. You got to admire the Falcons' attempt anyway to spark this team, to get something going.
The first Atlanta turnover. Best starting field position for the Bucs. Pittman down to the 42. Picks up the first down as we check in with JB.
Kenny and Tim, after a Kerry Collins fumble, Dallas makes him pay. Quincy Carter back, play action, hooks up with Antonio Bryant. Bryant's first career touchdown reception. It is now Dallas on top, 17-14, 10:50 left in regulation. Back to Kenny and Tim.
So a seesaw battle down at Texas Stadium. Cowboys out on top. Coming off their huge win over the Rams. Down to the 38-yard line. Keith Brooking, the tackle on Michael Pittman.
I think today, Kenny, when Tampa Bay's offense has had their success, they've they've done really well on first down. They've been in a lot of second and short situations. Not the case now, only about 3 yards on that run, but they've had a lot of first down passes that have worked really well for them. And that's taken a lot of the pressure off of Brad Johnson and enabled him to hook up on more short passes downfield.
And the Bucs struggled on first down over their first 4 games. Here's Pittman reaching out to the 35, a gain of 3, setting up third down and 3.
Michael Pittman runs like a madman, doesn't he? I mean, he just runs so hard with such energy on every play.
He's given himself concussions in the past because he runs so hard.
He is. Yeah, that's really been the biggest problem for Michael Pittman is he runs so hard. It's hard for him to stay healthy. See, Tampa Bay has just dominated in the offensive category as far as outdoing the Falcons, almost 300 yards. Falcons half of that.
Empty backfield on third down and 3. Johnson to McCardell, first down. Down to the Falcons 20. Fred Weary made the tackle after a gain of 15 as McCardell signals first down for Tampa Bay.
There is no way you can get to the quarterback when it's this kind of, watch this quick release, just 3-step and boom, there it goes. Perfectly executed play. There's the slant route by Keenan McCardell. And Fred Weary either needs some help on the inside from a linebacker or he's got to get inside position on that because Brad Johnson will take that slant all day long if you give it to him.
Here's Pittman down to the 8-yard line. Brad Johnson has hit 7 different receivers. Spreading the ball around. Keyshawn with 6 receptions for 131 yards. McCardell 5 for 68 yards. With 8.5 remaining, and the Bucs up by 4.
And the Bucs going at it on the clock, Kenny. In kind of a 4-minute offense here. Pittman running the ball, throwing the short, safe passes. See the classic shifting of a John Gruden offense, moving the personnel around, guys moving around, on the line, off the line.
McCardell again inside the 5, down to the 4 before Carpenter brought him down as McCardell and Keyshawn celebrate.
Well, McCardell's dancing because it's the same play. It's just the same play. They're doing it from a different formation. Watch McCardell. It's the slant. It's the play we just saw him on before. Just comes up, he puts a fake. I mean, they've got Sam Rodgers covering Keenan McCardell. That is such a mismatch that you know Brad Johnson is not going to fail to take advantage of that. Johnson sees the field too well to try to cover his top receiver with a linebacker.
Mike Alston wrapped up by a trio of Falcons. No gain on the play.
Think about how important this series of downs is right now. Time running out. Bucs have done a good job here on this drive, kind of grinding away at the clock. The Falcons defense, the way their offense has played, which is not very lively, they have got to hold Tampa Bay to a field goal here. If they do, then they're within 1 touchdown of tying the game. If the Bucs score a touchdown here, it could be ugly.
Second and goal. Johnson looking for Keyshawn. Ron Bolden on the coverage. They continue to chat.
Boy, it was excellent pressure on Brad Johnson on that play. Watch it here. It's good coverage by Bolden. There he is. He gets his good inside position. He jams Keyshawn. And watch the pressure come here from the right side. Sam Rodgers. And that takes a little bit of the accuracy away from Brad Johnson's pass.
Remember, Keyshawn, no red zone receptions this season. Looks like Buccaneers have called timeout.
Kenny, this is where that 7th or that 12th man, the crowd in the Georgia Dome, needs to take effect. And that's one thing the new owner, Arthur Blank, was determined to do. Sell out this stadium, get the fans here. They're going to have to make a lot of noise on this huge third down play.
Third and goal coming up for the Buccaneers. This drive started when Dwight Smith intercepted the pass on the fake punt.
Kenny, a touchdown here is going to force the Atlanta Falcons to run a 2-minute offense with their backup quarterback. Michael Vick, knocked out, sprained AC. He was pounded all game long by that Tampa Bay front four. There's Doug Johnson, his backup. He came out and completed his first 2 passes, moved the ball club down the field pretty well. And since then, he's struggled the way Michael Vick has struggled.
3rd and goal for Tampa Bay from the Atlanta 4. Johnson rolling right. Throws to the end zone, incomplete. Intended for a diving McCardell.
What discipline by the Falcons cornerbacks. Ashley Ambrose and Jerron Bolden, except for the one play Bolden got beat for the touchdown, have done a really fine job. Look, there's the 2 receivers. So Bolden actually ends up taking McCardell, and Ashley Ambrose ends up covering Keyshawn. So they switch the coverage, and look at that play there by Jerron Bolden. Keeps the Falcons alive. Even with a field goal, they're still only a touchdown behind.
Gramatica hits from 22. So the Buccaneers extend their lead to 7. 6:31 remaining in Atlanta. A 7-point lead for the Buccaneers as Alan Rossum awaits Martin Gramatica's kick. Gramatica hitting on his 2nd field goal of the game moments ago to extend the Tampa Bay edge. Rossum turns the corner. That is tackled at the 15-yard line by Corey Ivy.
Barry Bonds. Bonds, the home run king, has never been to the World Series.
And here in Atlanta, the Falcons looking to come back. They trail by 7. Johnson hit. Intercepted by Sapp. The lateral to Brooks. And the Tampa Bay defense has scored for the 4th consecutive game.
The pressure came from Anthony McFarland initially, and then Doug Johnson just got a taste of that Tampa Bay defense the way Michael Vick did all game. Watch McFarland. He comes right through Travis Claridge. Johnson steps up, and then it's Spires and Rice smashing him. Warren Sapp with the interception and the lateral to Derek Brooks for the Tampa Bay touchdown. Maybe a question of whether or not this was an illegal forward pass. Look at Sapp. How about that? And now I think that was a lateral. I think he tossed that ball back over his shoulder. And as you said, Kenny, Tampa Bay defense does it again. Look at that toss right there, because Brooks has to go back behind himself to scoop this thing up. And Derek Brooks, the all-pro linebacker, has been in the end zone 3 times now this season.
Atlanta is challenging the ruling on the field after the interception.
5th game.
The return man pitched it forward. We'll review the play.
Well, we already saw it. It looked okay. Well, it looked like it was a lateral.
Again, it's close.
But if you're Dan Reeves, you may as well challenge.
Absolutely. You have nothing to lose.
And Tim, for Warren Sapp, it's only his 2nd career interception, both against the Falcons. As a rookie in 1995, he picked off a Jeff George shovel pass. And this is 2nd interception, gets it back to Brooks. And pending the review, the Tampa Bay defense scores for the 4th consecutive game.
Well, Doug Johnson was just blasted by Rice and Spires. I mean, blasted. And the story of this game, really, Kenny, is this Tampa Bay front four and what they did to the Falcons quarterbacks today. Because Michael Vick never got into a rhythm. He was 4 for 12 before they knocked him out of the game. And then Doug Johnson, he got a feel of it as well. There's the lateral right there. I don't think that we're going to, again, Kenny, see anything that can overturn it, because you have to have, again, that indisputable visual evidence.
And you think back to that Music City Miracle, the playoff game between Tennessee and Buffalo a couple of years back. Lateral on the return, which won the game for the Titans, and they eventually played in the Super Bowl that year here in Atlanta.
And, you know, Kenny, it was really interesting during the commercial break. I think Warren Sapp took the energy from this Atlanta crowd. This is what he was doing during the commercial break.
Right before that play.
And they were booing him. And remember, we sat here and I said, hey, he is picking up energy from this crowd. And then Sapp got into the defensive huddle, and he was feeding off of their boos.
And he's still doing it.
Well, you know what? As a player, you can feed off of boos just as well as you can feed off of cheers.
So would you say he sapped the crowd of their energy?
He sapped them of their energy, because look at that. I mean, if you have 70,000 people cheering for you, it's almost the same feeling of exhilaration and power if you have 70,000 people booing for you when you want them to boo for you. Sapp wants to be the defensive bad guy in Atlanta here today, and he was.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined after the interception, 99's pass was a lateral pass, which means legal. The result of the play is a touchdown, and the play stands as called. Atlanta is charged with a timeout.
So it is a touchdown. The fourth in the last 4 games by the Buccaneers defense. In Baltimore, Derek Brooks takes it back 97 yards into the end zone. 1 week later on Monday night, Kurt Warner picked off. It's Brooks again, a 39-yard return. Watch the block. Sapp throws here on Kurt Warner as Brooks scores. And then against Cincinnati, Achilles Smith picked off. Shelton Quarles, 25 yards into the end zone. And today, the interception by Sapp, the lateral to Brooks, and he scores his 3rd touchdown of the season. And getting back to Sapp, remember what he told us yesterday? He said, you asked him if he feels he's hated around the league. He says, well, it's a love-hate relationship. They love me except when I'm playing against their team.
Then they love to hate me. In fact, he won't even order room service to his room or food to his room. He says, I always order the food to the room across the hall, and then I listen for them. So they don't know it's coming to my room and to Warren Sapp. I'm afraid someone might try to do something with my food.
Which is what Kobe Bryant thought happened to his food during the NBA playoffs in Sacramento. So Warren Sapp orders food to the room across the hall and then listens for the knock on the door. The Buccaneers have scored 14 touchdowns this year, 4 by the defense. It's the first time Buccaneers have scored on defense in 4 consecutive games in team history.
And those 2 defensive players, Sapp and Brooks, we talked about right from the beginning of this game. They played all last season injured. Brooks with a foot injury, Sapp with a shoulder injury. People said maybe their best days are behind them. These 2 guys spent the offseason in long, slow, painful rehabilitations. We talked with both guys about them, and they said, look, we're back, we're 100%, and we will be back defensively to where we were before. And then how ironic is it that on the really turning point play of the game, it's those 2 guys. It's Sapp and it's Brooks. Sapp with the interception, laterals to Brooks for the touchdown.
And John Gruden challenged his defense prior to the season. He said, I want you guys to score 9 touchdowns this year. They already have 4 in 5 games.
That's a pretty nice luxury for an offensive coach to request 9 touchdowns from his defense, and then looks like he might get them.
Doug Johnson, a handoff. T.J. Duckett out across the 25 to the 26. Gain of 3 on the play.
And the crowd doesn't like it because, you know, they've got to go to the air. I mean, they can't be running the football now. They've got to go to a 2-minute offense and score 2 touchdowns quick if they want to have a chance.
Falcons 1-2. Their 2 losses have been by 3 and 1 point. Johnson slides out to the 31-yard line.
Kenny, and the NFL, it's a world of second guessing and Monday morning quarterbacks. But I will tell you this week in Atlanta, people are going to look at these numbers right here and say, let's see, Duckett, he carried 11 times, he averaged 4.7, and Warrick Dunn got the ball 9 times, averaging 1.6, and people are going to second guess and say, why would you give Dunn as many carries as Duckett when that disparity is so great?
And that theme started to come out the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's going to be rampant this week in Atlanta.
And a tough schedule coming up. Dan Reeves told us our next 4 games, including today.
False start, 74, offense.
Really?
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And Dan said Falcons' next 4 games will define where we are, Tim. Against the Bucs, and then Giants, and then 2 more divisional opponents.
Right, and both of those divisional opponents right now, Carolina and New Orleans, looks like they may win their game, so you'll have 3 out of the 4 teams in the NFC South. Right now, Kenny, looks like we'll be 4-1. So it's not going to get any easier for the Falcons. Giants are on top. We just saw the Fox box drop down a few minutes ago and showed Giants went on top of Dallas. That's not going to be an easy game for Atlanta next week in New York.
3rd down and 9 as Johnson fires for the first down to the 37-yard line. First catch of the game for Sean Jefferson.
Kenny, that is the second 3rd down conversion for the Falcons today. Only the second. Prior to this, they were 1 for 11 on 3rd down.
And Tampa Bay in their last game held the Bengals to 2 for 17 on 3rd down. Johnson looking for Jefferson once again. Incomplete.
And really, the story here today was this Tampa Bay defensive front. Warren Sapp, Greg Spires, Anthony McFarland, and Simeon Rice pounding the Falcons quarterbacks, pounding Michael Vick, keeping him out of his rhythm. And, you know, when you think about the run game that's the quarterback's best friend. It's not his dog. There's Michael Vick on the sideline with an injured shoulder. It's the run game, because the run game takes pressure off of the passing game.
And Michael Vick averaging 61 yards on the ground coming in today, 1 yard rushing. Dunn could not hold on. And so getting back to the Buccaneers defense, this is their 3rd road game this season. They played in Baltimore, in Cincinnati, and now here in Atlanta. They have not allowed a touchdown by the opposing offense in 3 road games. Cincinnati's only touchdown was scored by their defense.
We're talking with Warren Sapp. He wasn't overly exuberant about their statistics coming into this game, because he said, look, the last 3 games, yeah, we've played great, but the total record of those teams is 1-10. So Monty Kiffin, you see there, the defensive coordinator, constantly challenging these guys, constantly asking them to get more and more out of themselves.
Johnson to Jefferson at the Tampa Bay 44 for a first down, gain of 19. Giants continue to lead Dallas. Washington by 17 over Tennessee. A surprise down in Nashville. Cardinals have come back to tie the Panthers late 4th quarter. Oakland now leading Buffalo. Simeon Rice got a hold of Johnson, but Johnson able to complete to Kozlowski. Rice already with 2.5 sacks today.
Clock continues to run. Johnson, with that clock, really would have been better off not completing the pass, but since he didn't know that. Oakland going up on top of Buffalo, 42-31.
And Oakland scored 52 points last week against Tennessee. Intercepted. Dwight Smith with his 2nd pick of the game. The other coming on the fake punt attempt. The 3rd Buccaneers interception in the 2nd half.
Domination by the Tampa Bay front 4, pounding the Atlanta quarterbacks. And Warren Sapp, we got a little vignette of him and his body language. It says a lot.
Represent.
That's like a hop shake move. You know, Kenny, remember yesterday I said to Warren, the last thing I said to him was, I said, hey, have fun. Did you see the smile on his face? He said, oh, you know it, right? I mean, he has fun playing this game. He plays it all out. 3 tackles, 1 interception, and he has pounded the Falcons quarterbacks. Simeon Rice has done a great job as well. Anthony McFarland, Greg Spires. They have just lambasted both Michael Vick, knocking him out of the game. There's Simeon Rice and Doug Johnson.
3 interceptions the last 3 drives for the Bucs defense, including a fake punt attempt. Ball stop up to the 35-yard line.
Kenny, take a look at this effort here by Tampa Bay's defense. No touchdowns allowed, 3 quarterback sacks, 3 turnovers forced, 10 points off of those turnovers. Look what they did to the Falcons' run game. 3-2 a carry. 3rd down conversions, 3 of 13. Remember, I said the only game Tampa Bay has lost this season was to the New Orleans Saints, and back for the Saints. This is where he won the battle. On 3rd down, he converted 50% of them. Throwing the ball, running the ball. As you pointed out, Michael Vick today 1 yard as to his typical 61 yards.
And what you did not see on that graphic is that the Tampa Bay defense scored for the 4th consecutive game as well. Derek Brooks' 3rd touchdown.
Anthony McFarland looks like he's taking a nap. He's had such a big day and he's so comfortable. He's just going to have a nap.
Oh, there he is.
Sapp woke him up and said, dog, you're on camera.
From the 36, the pitch to Pickett. Down to the 34-yard line. Well, today's game produced by P.T. Navarro, directed by Peter Bleckner. Our associate director, Fred Morrison. Broadcast associate, Carrie Kloster. Technical producer, Kevin McRoby. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jonathan X. The senior producer, Bill Brown. The executive producers, Ed Gorin and David Hill. Crunching the numbers here in Atlanta, Eric Merlis, Ben Bowman, Josh Weingrad. As the Buccaneers let the clock wind down all the way to the 2-minute warning, as they are on their way to their 4th consecutive victory, led by their defense.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud.
But today, of course, they're 0-4. That's a huge story. And they are without quarterback Kurt Warner. Most people know he broke the pinky on his throwing hand. And he's out. He says he'll be back in 4 or 5 weeks.
Jamie Martin will start for the Rams.
Right, and for San Francisco, they've got Garcia, but they've got this guy. How about Terrell Owens? How explosive is he as an athlete? Look at him here against the Redskins. He goes to throw the pass. When that breaks down, he just turns it on. He has speed, he has strength, he has athleticism. He's got some moves too.
And the fans here in Atlanta know about those moves. Remember the overtime touchdown he scored here last year in the 49ers 37-31 victory. Well, the Falcons led this game 6-3 in the 3rd quarter. And the go-ahead touchdown, a 76-yard pass play from Brad Johnson to Keyshawn. And then the defense took over.
They really did take over, too.
And for the Falcons offensively, Doug Johnson led them to that go-ahead field goal, and they took a 6-3 lead after he replaced the injured Michael Vick. Johnson complete to Finneran for 14 yards. Falcons have no timeouts. They lost 1 on the challenge, and they used their other 2. Falcons will visit the Giants next week, while the Buccaneers will be home for Cleveland.
Hey, Kenny, October, this magical October, it is brutal on the Elks Club and the Rotary Club where I live in Skaneateles, because look at all these games. I mean, you got baseball games all over the place. You got football. Look at this. You really don't have a lot of days to do anything in this month, right? And see, the Elks, they meet on Wednesday nights. It's out. The whole month is shot. The Rotary meets Thursday night. It's over. No one's going to be there. Everyone's going to be watching sports on Fox this entire month. You got a couple Friday nights off to try to squeeze something in.
I think you just drew a map of some small country that I can't identify.
That's the county that I live in, Onondaga County.
Upstate New York?
Sure. In the town of Skaneateles, where the Elks and the Rotarians are going to have a month off.
Well, the New York Yankees and Arizona Diamondbacks will have some time off after their meeting in the World Series last year. Both eliminated yesterday. Baseball continues on Fox tonight with the Braves and the Giants in Game 4, as Johnson is upended by Brian Kelly.
After this game, you've got the Eagles and Donovan McNabb against Jacksonville, and Fred Taylor, who's just incredible, doing a phenomenal job running the ball this year. McNabb, we know how exciting he is. Or you've got the 49ers against the Rams.
Nearly picked off by Rondé Barber. Well, we mentioned the Yankees eliminated yesterday by the Anaheim Angels. David Wells on the mound in Game 4. Taken deep by Sean Wooten, Jason Giambi's high school teammate, with the home run for the Angels. And then the Angels doing it defensively. The final out, David Eckstein. The Angels celebrate their first ever postseason series victory in their history as they move on and will face the winner of the Twins and the A's. That series going to a decisive 5th game. Johnson to Dunn. Looks to get out of bounds as he hurdled over Kelly. Clock stops with 26 seconds left. Now, speaking of baseball, Doug Johnson was a 2nd-round draft pick of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and spent 2 years in their minor league system.
Well, Doug Johnson came in and was on fire there for a little bit, but then that Tampa Bay front four came back to life. They gave him a little taste of what they'd given Michael Vick, knocked him around, and since then he's not been very efficient, and he's thrown 2 critical interceptions.
4th down and 2. Pass deflected and a penalty flag. .21 seconds remaining. Here's Bill Carolla.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, 25 defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Well, Kenny, I know Michael Vick was knocked out of this game. I know he didn't have the spectacular game that he's had in the first 3 games this season, but it's going to be part of his education. I still contend he is the most athletically gifted quarterback line up and play in the NFL. He's the fastest. He can run incredibly well. He's got an incredible arm. He did not get into a rhythm today, but that's going to happen. He's going to have a long and very successful career, and I think this franchise is going to be able to build on him.
I agree. He was outstanding over the first 3 weeks. The loss up in Green Bay in overtime. Falcons could have won the Chicago game, missed a late field goal, and then the 33 rout of the Bengals 2 Sundays ago. Well, the Buccaneers will win their 3rd consecutive road game to start the season. First time since 1979 that they will start 3-0 on the road. Carolina now behind, trailing Arizona late. Cardinals could go to 3-2 on the season. Down to 14 seconds. Johnson, the Finneran, out of bounds at the 36 with 7 seconds left. So the Buccaneers go to 4-1, their 4th consecutive victory. Falcons will drop to 1-3. Keyshawn all smiles. Longest reception of his career, the 76-yard touchdown pass from Johnson, which put Tampa Bay ahead 10-6.
And all day long, Kenny, the Atlanta cornerbacks, Ashley Ambrose and Jerron Bolden, did a good job against Keyshawn and Keenan McCardell. They limited them somewhat, but with Brad Johnson as the quarterback for Tampa Bay, if you make one mistake, and the Falcons did.
Let's see, was it intercepted in the end zone by Brooks? He's on the bottom of the pile, and he has the football. The 4th Tampa Bay interception on the final play of the game. What an effort by the Buccaneers defense. And they win it over the Falcons by the score of 20-6. For Tim Green, Bud Blanford, and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from Atlanta. Stay tuned to Fox Sports for the Fox Sports Game Break Show with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy right after these messages. And for more information on today's game and the latest NFL news, log on to foxsports.com. So long.